Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Express Drive Show, wherein we have regularly been talking to industry captains from the automotive sector. And today, our special guest is Mr. Partha Datta, who is in charge of everything that happens at FCA India. So, thank you so much, Mr. Datta, for joining us today.
Thank you, Parvit. My pleasure.
Now, I mean, these are really unprecedented times, and COVID has taken a big toll on many businesses, including the automotive sector. So, I mean, especially FCA now catering to most of the premium sector through its Jeep brand, and of course, being a young brand, what has been the kind of impact on the brand due to COVID?
Firstly, as a brand, Jeep's been around longer than most other brands. I understand your comment about Jeep as in India in its latest avatar is only 3 years old with the Compass, and I understand that's the reference that you have. So from an impact standpoint, as a brand, the brand has endured through everything the world has thrown at it the last 80 years. It's something that stands in that time. We are in an unprecedented time, and business in every sector, every segment's been affected, as it has, with our sales as well. We're in the process of coming back now as the markets reopen, and we've weathered the storm just like the best, companies out there. Like every other company, we've worked hard to manage both sides of the cost and revenue equation. Made sure that we hold our most important resource close to us, our employees, and work to make sure that we are keeping in close touch with how customers are changing their perspective and their wants in this unprecedented time and reacting to it.
There's a lot of changes that you've made at the dealership level as far as customer interaction is concerned due to the crisis. So how's that turning up? How's the kind of feedback you're getting from customer, the new way of buying cars?
Yeah. So it's true that this particular pandemic has, brought to the fore the fact that customers are wary about going to crowded places. They don't want to go to unfamiliar places. So it's true that digital has become the more, the big wave that everybody is trying to serve right now and make sure that we're doing the right job with it. So Book My Jeep was announced in May. Bookings can anything from all the way from bookings to purchase we can do. So we are riding the digital wave as well. Test drives and deliveries, we can do that at the doorstep for the customers, and that's what we're doing right now. We're training our dealership personnel, and we're helping the customers with all of the choices that they need right at their fingertips on. So we are definitely reacting to this challenge by going more digital. And it is true that customers are, wary about it. We've also introduced Selected for You, which is the new Jeep certified PreOwned brand, which can also be accessed digitally. Based on this, we know that there are parts of the population that want private spaces for mobility. And those private spaces, span a spectrum of budgets. So the Selected for You as well, is another way to make sure that we're able to give our customers the options that they would want to avail. So I'll give you just ballpark figures. What I would call inquiries, over 1 million inquiries on Book My Jeep. And in addition to that, Arpit, instead of going into conversions, because in the end, Arpit, car buying is always going to be an emotional proposition. It's probably the second biggest aspirational purchase in a person's life, right?
True.
So in the end, customers are going to want to do the wheel kick. They're going to want to sit and look around. While we facilitate all of that in the digital platform, people still want to go and touch and feel the vehicle. So in the end, the retail process will still need the brick and mortar dealerships which will facilitate the last mile conversion. So we've done a very good job in bringing customers up to the test drive piece, where they will be getting a vehicle all the way up to their doorstep. But thereafter, I think people still prefer the touch and feel and want to do, some of those final last mile conversions on the dealership.
Can you shed some light on the upcoming models for Jeep specifically? What kind of new models can we expect, and what kind of new segments is the company planning to enter?
Yep. So, what we had said in our Capital Markets Day announcements was that we would have a 3-row SUV, which is in the works.
Right.
We also talked about working on a sub 4 meter SUV. We're actively investigating a sub 4 meter SUV.
Okay.
We have 2 other iconic products coming to India's dealerships. I won't name when and which yet.
Okay.
All of this, Arpit, in addition to a new Compass. Also, we will have a buzz models that are coming in this year. In addition to buzz models, of course, as I told you before, we have Selected for You being ramped up. We also have new financial schemes that we are beginning to showcase and bring to our customers to help, because of the fact that customers are now conserving cash. To help with that side of the equation for the customer, we're able to give them more innovative financial schemes to be and all of the Compass lineup has been value for the customers since the day it came in. So all of those things will continue. We want to make sure that, as you know, the Compass is now BS6. We will have BS6 on both the petrol and the gasoline, and the diesel engines. So between the fact that we're able to offer new vehicles, gasoline, and also able to show the consumer a new Selected for You experience, new buzz models, which we'll be bringing in very, very shortly. It'll be just before the festival season, actually. And these are all opportunities that I think I want to highlight. People need to be excited about as the rest of this year progresses for the Compass and for the Jeep lineup.
Anything about the platform that you just spoke about, the 3-row vehicle and the sub 4 meter that you're again looking into? So can you tell us what kind of platforms are they? Rework platforms? Are these brand new platforms? What, if you can tell us that?
All I can tell you is that they will be platforms that will bring the needs of the market extremely modern, giving the customers all the features that are sought after today. And they will stay true to every aspect of Jeepness that the brand has always adhered to, which includes all of the factors that make the Jeep one of the most durable vehicles on the planet, one of the most reliable vehicles on the planet. So those will be engineered into the platform. It will have all of the features and the modern amenities, and we will make sure that they are also made to be value conscious, to have that extra bit of engineering that it takes to localize all of this product, to maximize the level of local content that we can make, and it will be made right here in one of the plants that we have here in Ranjangaon, which today builds, by the way, Arpit, I don't know if you're aware, the Compass is built in 5 different plants around the world. The best quality-wise is built in India. It's exported to 13 different markets from India. And all of those is because of the strength of the platform and the strength of the technical ingenuity that the engineers have done to make it, global vehicle with global standards built in our beautiful facility.
And you also said that there's an all new Compass also in the works. So Any rough idea by, if not a timeline, but can we expect it within the next year?
I will tell you this, Arpit, it won't be this year.
Okay, considering the fact that social distancing in this crisis, the situation is expected to prevail for some more time, uh, do you see a situation arising wherein people, like it happened in China, would be looking at buying their own vehicles more in the short term or medium term? And if that is the case, do you think Jeep is a brand that could benefit from such a trend, or will this trend be limited primarily to small cars or maybe the used car segment?
As a brand, Jeep will always benefit. So will the rest of the industry, because every part of the industry is going to be affected by that sentiment, right? But I'll be candid with you, Arpit. It is true that when people decide to go for private modes of transportation and do away with the public, like, they're typically going to be people who are looking for value purchase, or coming into the entry level segments. So
Right.
from that standpoint, I expect to see that the increase that we see in the entry level segments will definitely be more than in the more premium segments. I can't deny that. That's absolutely going to be true. In fact, if you ask me, even in the entry level segments, Sarpit, two-wheelers versus four-wheelers, you're going to see a difference. Two-wheelers will probably be impacted with even higher growth rates. And it is true that people will opt for, to make sure that whatever can fit within their budget, right?
Mhm.
Especially in a time when they're trying to conserve cash. So in those instances, vehicles and brands such as Selected for You, the Jeeps, pre-certified, pre-owned brands, those will also see more growth. So as a brand, Jeep will have what it needs to offer to everyone in the spectrum, whether that's a gasoline buyer, a diesel buyer, whether that's a used car, certified pre-owned vehicle buyer, whether that's a new car buyer. We will be able to cater to all of those segments. So we will hopefully ride with the segment as the buoyancy comes back.
Okay. And you just spoke about the certified car business. So if you could shed some more light on how's that unit coming along, and what do you expect from this unit in the coming years?
Yeah, certified pre-owned is a brand. Our certified pre-owned brand is called Selected for You. Selected for You is a very specific brand that gives you the peace of mind of owning a vehicle like it was new. It goes through a 120-point inspection, certified with a warranty. So you are buying the peace of mind that you should always expect when you get a new car. That's the concept behind Selected for You, and it's now in every one of our dealerships. So, any Jeep dealership, we should be able to go and get information on a pre-owned brand. There's trade-ins that you could do, bring your old vehicle in, and there's facilities to do trade-in. So we're going to facilitate that for the customer. And we are cognizant of the fact that in times like these, Arpit, people are trying to make sure that the resources that they have are conserved, clearly. So this is another opportunity for them to do it. In addition to that, there are very attractive financial options that we have, whether they're buying new or they're going for other, used operations.
One question that I wanted to discuss, and this is a very hot topic these days, it's about the issue we are facing with China. And there's a lot of people who are actively saying, calling for a boycott for Chinese imports. So if you could tell us, what is the status with Jeep importing components from China? Where does that situation stand? And then B, what is your take on this? I mean, do you see this something as a feasible or a non-feasible option for the automotive sector, realistically?
So, Arpit, let me take them in your order that you asked.
Sure.
FCA Compass is a localized product. So,
Yeah.
Close to 80% of the vehicle is localized. We interact with global suppliers. right? Whether that's a Magna, whether that's some other company that, whether it's a Val, whoever. These global suppliers obviously have a supply chain that's diversified. They have plants all over the world, including China, right? Sometimes. So clearly, there's always going to be at the component and the tier 2 and the tier 3 level, some level of child parts that are sourced all over the world, including China. Whether that's in the US, whether that's in Europe, whether that's in China, that's a piece that that extended enterprise, that extended universe has to manage for itself.
Right.
Now, when it comes to our being Atmanirbhar, as you said, as we're talking about that piece, we export the compasses to 13 countries in the world, including countries like Australia, Japan, South Africa, UK. I mean, these are all some of the Western European countries and countries where the motorization has proceeded much further. They are mature markets, and they have very, very mature tastes and standards of quality, and we meet them. We have no issues with compass quality. In fact, Ranjangaon just won the EEPC award for export quality from the government of India in 2019. As a company and as a plant, we are invested and committed to making and building our presence here in India, including our parts distribution facility that we have in Chakan, which is a huge facility and manages a very large piece. We've just expanded it, and we've invested, crores of rupees to build a very, very modern facility. And all of the spare parts to different poles in the world come from this place. So overall, I think from an FCA standpoint, we focus on global standards. As far as India is concerned and FCA G brand is concerned, we're already exporting to the rest of the world. We're already sending cars built in India, made in India, to the other parts of the world. Will we be able to completely eliminate the influence of Chinese supply on that? Honestly, I think it will depend on how well we compete as a country. If we have the quality and the componentry like the Jeep does today, yes, I don't see why supply chains all over the world will not come knocking on India's door. We have to compete and win. I really don't want to get into the political aspects of this matter. I would rather that everybody brings this to a peaceful solution, and I hope our Jawans on the border stay safe and our people on the border stay safe. But in the end, our competitive spirit is what will define how good and how much we can make use of the current situation.
During the period of lockdown, there were again a slew of relief measures that were announced by the government, and that included some for the automotive sector as well. So, what's your view on that? What more does the sector need, and were the announcements by the government enough?
I think some of the liquidity measures which would lead to easier lending and easier consumption was helpful.
Okay.
The part that I think I'm most excited about is the recent announcement that I've been seeing about a scrappage bonus to make sure that the churn in the old vehicles is, the end of life of the vehicles is tangibly improved or changed, so that we can begin to see that demand on the demand side come back, because we're incentivizing buying and incentivizing disposal of old vehicles. I think I'm excited about that. I do think, if a little bit more bank lending if there were measures to help consumers get little more liquidity and loans to make sure that they can make their purchases, that will further boost. But I think it's off to a good start. I think the governments, obviously, they know a lot more than I do about the situation. And I believe that they're doing the best that they can. But I think I'm excited to see this new scrappage bonus, how soon it materializes.
Yeah, it's a very interesting scheme and proposal, but on the flip side, also, Mr. Datta, it has been in the works for a long time now, and time and again the discussion has been coming up, and there have been announcements, but nothing really has progressed. So, do you expect this to happen in sometime in the short term, or I mean, what are your views on that? Do you see this really happening anytime soon?
I don't know about soon. As soon as a relative term, Arpit. I don't know. Like, you had a timeline of 2 years for changing the supply chain. So I don't know what soon means. But I do think I see the intent this time is being different, especially I think COVID as a pandemic. And, the sudden drop in the consumption part and the demand part
Yes.
need this boost. So I think there's an added, incentive even for the policymakers to make this happen.
Okay. As we go through this phase of this pandemic, and eventually we hope that we'll get over it. So, by when do you see a situation wherein car sales could start probably crawling their way back to somewhere close to normal?
Close to normal as in pre-COVID levels, Arpit, I would have to say that I want this particular Diwali season to
Right.
begin to show that the monthly segments get to the point of pre-COVID. There's obviously pent-up demand, and
Right.
with festival season coming, I think that will be the beginning.
Mhm.
And next year, I think we should be back and growing again like we were before. Look, we're making this up as we go. Nobody knows. We've never been. This is an unprecedented situation. I
True.
see very positive signs. I see that even with the density of population we have, it's been a fabulous job that's been done.
Beyond that, any observations that you would have for this particular scenario from an automotive perspective? Anything that stands out for you through this stage of crisis?
I don't think we as a I'd like to use the German word Umwelt, the universe, the auto universe. We knew how much more efficient we could get even with working from home. When it started, Arpit, I was the first one to be skeptical. I was wondering, how are we going to do this? Everybody in different locations. Sure enough, we're able to. I think we're doing it. We found efficiencies. We've tried to optimize things. We've actually found cost optimizations. We've realized how important it is that we hold our most important resource close to us, the people, right? And we've been able to do this without any job losses. We figured out ways for digital collaboration. I think all of these are going to affect the auto industry, and frankly, the extended universe is in quite a bit. I think people will begin to look at things that they thought were, so to speak, monuments, and the resilience of the industry and the tenacity of the people to work around those monuments being destroyed has been my biggest learning in this pandemic.
Thank you so much, Mr. Datta, for your time. It's been great talking to you.
Same here, Arpit. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and to all
Thanks a
the
lot.
viewers, I hope they're safe.
Absolutely. And you too. And look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Same here.